What would you do if your most intimate moments were used against you as blackmail? Well, 17-year-old Gavin Guffey was sextorted, but it's what happened next that shattered his family. Before we speak with his dad, who is a South Carolina representative, here is Gavin's story. And a warning to our viewers, this story is graphic.
Hey, I'm Brandon Guffey. While some of us like to spew the national rhetoric that simply polls high, I am more focused on how we continue to strengthen the great state of South Carolina. I was in the middle of my state house primary run. Gavin began to help me out a lot with the campaign. I was very proud to see that. The only stress that he had was what he was going to do as far as going to college. On July 26th, as I came in, it was around shortly after 1 a.m. I could hear Gavin in his room. I see him leave out of the bedroom, go down the hallway. So I got up. Gavin was coming from the living room, and as we passed each other in the hallway, I just said, "Good night, buddy, I love you." Well, he goes in the bathroom. I lean down to kiss Callie, and I hear what sounds like a bowling ball coming down, just crashing through shelves. I run back to the bathroom, and I'm shouting, "Gavin, Gavin." Doesn't answer. I kick in the door. I'm trying to find the wound. I can't find the wound. I wasn't putting things together. I'm thinking he hit his head, and I can just feel the blood leaving his body. And I couldn't stop it. Scariest point in my entire life. And I noticed a gun beside of Gavin, and then I could smell and taste the gunpowder.
Gavin died that night. He was just 17 years old. As his dad started to piece together Gavin's final hours, he discovered that his son had been sexually extorted, otherwise known as sextorted. Here to tell us more, please welcome to the show South Carolina Representative Brandon Guffey. Brandon, oh my gosh, our hearts are with you. Our hearts are with you.
Thank you.
Brandon, tell us the story. How was Gavin sextorted so we can all understand? Paint that picture. I know it must be hard, but just let us know what that is like.
He was on video game with some friends, got off around midnight, said that he was, he told his friends that he had to get off because I was making him get off from being too loud, but he ended up getting off because he was receiving messages on Instagram. Thought that it was a girl playing volleyball in North Carolina. They started chatting, and he sent images over at that time and then began to get extorted.
And did you have any clue he was being sextorted at all?
No, all of this happened in one night, which was very shocking for me to hear. The only clue that we had was the lapel pin that I wear here. He sent out a message to all of his friends before he took his life with the less than 3 sign, which is like a heart.
Wow.
So Gavin used a gun that was left out in your home. Did this change your view on guns?
Me personally, I would say I've always been a pro-Second Amendment person. However, I don't have any guns in my home anymore. One of the things that we want to do with our nonprofit is go to these gun shows and provide free gun locks with the suicide hotline number on one side and the less than 3 sign on the other.
Now, what is the statistic that you heard about suicide and guns that actually shocked you?
I was speaking at a mental health event. I have other speakers, but one of the things that was shared was that the majority of suicides are impulsive. The time someone makes the decision to the time that they commit the act is typically 20 minutes. However, if there's a gun involved, it's less than 3 minutes.
Yep, less than 3.
That's my problem is if it's there, you'll use it. That's
less than 3 versus 20.
Which is why I don't have them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, you know, as one father to another, I'm grieving with you, brother. Let me ask you, and please tell our audience, how common is sextortion for teens, and what advice would you give to other parents that are watching this?
I think it's more common than anyone knows. The FBI just said sextortion cases are up 300%. Those are just the ones that are willing to come forward that have made it through. So that is very common. You know, of course, teens, 14 to 19, teenage boys are the primary target right now because they're an easy target. And you're starting to see new military members get targeted because they have big sign-on bonuses. And then even adult males that are 21 to 35 getting targeted on dating sites by people saying that they are contacting a girl underage, and they begin to extort them that way.
Brandon, I know this is tough for you, but thank you for doing this. And you created a sextortion bill in honor of your son, which I believe passed in the House and now has to go to the Senate. What legal options do you have right now, and what will this bill specifically change?
With Gavin's case, it's not going to change anything because it's not retroactive. But this bill, the biggest thing was the unity among the House that we put together between Republicans, Democrats, didn't matter what caucus you were, everyone worked with me on getting the language right. The primary thing is that if you are extorting someone online and it is a child or a vulnerable adult, you're looking at 20 years, up to 20 years in prison. If it's an adult to adult, then you're looking at 5 years first offense, 10 years second offense, and 20 years third offense. But if the person that you're blackmailing dies, that's also an additional 20 years. But the biggest thing with the bill is that it is going to require the school districts and Attorney General to inform everyone within the state of South Carolina on this bill.
Wow. Federally, I wish this could be federal, and I hope that every school district would have these conversations with their students. Brandon, thank you so much for taking the time to share your story. DBL Nation, follow Brandon's bill by visiting lessthan3sc.org. Also, if you or someone you know is struggling, call the numbers you see on your screen. There are people who want to help you. Thank you again, Brandon. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Thank you.